Have you ever felt drained after an interaction with someone, yet couldn't pinpoint exactly why? Or maybe you found yourself questioning whether the person you trust truly has your best interests at heart. Sometimes these doubts are more than just gut feelings. They could be a sign that you're dealing with someone whose intentions are far darker than they appear. Psychopathy isn't just something out of a thriller movie. It's real, and it can be harder to spot than you might think. In this world, many of us go through life seeking connection, love, and trust. We want relationships that uplift us, not tear us down. But what happens when those connections turn toxic? When you're in a situation that subtly erodes your peace, leaving you questioning everything about yourself and your choices. It's easy to feel lost in such moments, as if your reality has been manipulated beyond recognition. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to guard our peace above all, to stay grounded in our values, unaffected by the chaos of others. And one of the first steps to doing that is learning to recognize the signs of someone who might be trying to manipulate or control you, someone who thrives on chaos and leaves you emotionally exhausted. In today's video, we'll uncover 6 unmistakable signs that you're dealing with a psychopath. These signs, once recognized, can be your guide to protecting your mind and spirit, empowering you to make wise decisions with confidence. Let's take this journey together, because your peace of mind is worth protecting, and you deserve to live a life free from harm. Sign 1. The master of manipulation. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone seemed to have an uncanny ability to twist your thoughts, making you feel confused or guilty when you knew deep down that you had done nothing wrong? It's like they hold the power to turn the tables, shifting the blame, and subtly changing the narrative to make it seem as though you're the one in the wrong. This is the first sign you need to pay attention to: the master of manipulation. When you encounter a psychopath, one of the most insidious traits they possess is their mastery over manipulation. It's not always obvious at first. In fact, it might even feel flattering at times. They can be charming, smooth-talking, and incredibly persuasive. You might find yourself caught in their web, questioning your own judgment, wondering if maybe you are the one who's mistaken. But this isn't an accident. This is deliberate. The manipulator knows exactly what they're doing. They understand human emotions in a way that most of us don't. They can mirror your feelings, create a false sense of intimacy, and gain your trust, all while keeping their true intentions hidden. And in doing so, they subtly control your actions and thoughts. You begin to second-guess yourself. The doubts they plant in your mind start to grow, until you're no longer sure of your own reality. Here's the truth. This isn't about you. This is about them using you as a pawn in their game. A psychopath will twist your words, distort your reality, and make you feel as if you're constantly walking on eggshells. But deep down, you already know that something feels off. You feel the weight of their words, the pressure they apply, and the emotional toll it takes on you. The more they manipulate, the more you lose a sense of who you really are. But this is where you have the power to make a change. You are not helpless. You have a strength within you, a quiet power that can help you see through the smokescreen they've created. The moment you start recognizing this manipulation for what it is, you regain control. It might not be easy at first. It may require you to question everything you once believed, to stop trusting your own instincts and begin to see things from a broader perspective. But the first step is acknowledging the manipulation for what it truly is. They may try to convince you that their words are the truth, but trust yourself. The reality you feel deep within your core is more valid than any twisted narrative they try to force upon you. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to embrace wisdom and clarity, and part of that clarity is learning when to walk away from unhealthy relationships. It's about staying true to your values, even when someone else tries to sway you off course. When you stop allowing them to control your thoughts and emotions, you start to reclaim your power. The master of manipulation feeds on doubt, on confusion, and on your willingness to second-guess yourself. But by understanding this manipulation and recognizing it for what it is, you take the first step toward freeing yourself. This doesn't just protect you from toxic individuals, it also builds your inner strength. Think about it. How often have you let others shape your reality, telling you what you should feel or believe? You have the ability to step back, to choose your own path, and to trust your own intuition. This is your life, your journey, and no one should have the power to distort it. So if you find yourself caught in a web of manipulation, take a deep breath. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I seeing the truth, or am I being led down a path that doesn't feel right? Trust in your own perception. And remember, the path to clarity begins with the courage to look beyond the smoke and mirrors. You don't have to stay trapped in a toxic cycle. You don't have to allow someone to make you feel like you're the problem. The power to change your reality is already within you. It starts with the simple yet profound act of standing firm in your truth and refusing to let anyone, no matter how charming or persuasive, twist your reality. You are more than capable of recognizing manipulation when it happens. And when you do, you have the strength to step away, to protect your peace, and to continue walking forward in your own light. Sign 2, the absence of accountability. Have you ever been in a situation where someone you trusted made a mistake, caused harm, or failed to keep their word? And yet, they didn't take responsibility for it. Instead, they deflected, shifted the blame, or completely avoided the consequences of their actions. You felt the weight of the situation, the frustration of having to clean up their mess, and yet they acted as though nothing had happened. If this is something you've experienced, then you're facing the second sign of dealing with a psychopath, the absence of accountability. It's easy to think that accountability is just a matter of admitting mistakes. But with a psychopath, it's far more than that. They don't see the world the way you do. They don't believe in owning their actions or recognizing the impact they have on others. When they hurt you, they won't apologize. When they make promises, they won't follow through. And when things go wrong, they won't even blink an eye, let alone take responsibility. Instead, they will shift the blame onto you, onto someone else, or even onto circumstances beyond anyone's control. But here's the thing, you are not the one responsible for their behavior. This is a powerful realization. Psychopaths thrive in an environment where they are never held accountable because it allows them to continue manipulating, exploiting, and deceiving. They understand that without consequences, their actions will never change. They don't see the need for growth, self-reflection, or improvement. To them, the world exists solely to serve their needs, and anyone who challenges that is simply in their way. Now, I know that when you're in this situation, it can feel like a weight is on your shoulders. You might feel like you're the one who has to fix things, pick up the pieces, or make everything right. And that pressure can build over time, leaving you drained, confused, and unsure of your own place in the relationship. But deep down, you already know this isn't your responsibility. You know that true accountability is a cornerstone of healthy relationships. Without it, there's no foundation for trust, no way to grow, and no hope for healing. So, what can you do when faced with this absence of accountability? The first step is recognizing that you have the power to choose your own response. You can stop enabling their behavior by accepting their lies, their excuses, or their inability to own their mistakes. You don't have to bear the weight of their irresponsibility anymore. You can stand firm in your truth and protect yourself from their disregard. This is where your inner strength comes into play. The Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of self-control, of being the master of our own actions and reactions. You can't control the actions of others, especially someone who refuses to take responsibility for their mistakes. But you can control how you respond to them. You can choose to step away, to remove yourself from situations that drain you, or to set boundaries that honor your well-being. The absence of accountability from someone else is a signal for you to reflect on your own boundaries, your own values, and your own integrity. It's an invitation to stop allowing someone else to dictate your worth. You deserve honesty. You deserve respect. You deserve someone who acknowledges their shortcomings, learns from them, and grows. But when this is absent, it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. A person who can never take responsibility will never change. And if you continue to stay in that space, you'll only be feeding their pattern of behavior. Recognize this and take the empowering step to reclaim your peace. Think of your emotional energy as a currency. Every moment you spend trying to fix someone else's lack of accountability is a moment you're taking away from yourself. When you invest in relationships that foster mutual respect and accountability, you're investing in your own growth and happiness. This is your life, your journey, and you have the right to be surrounded by those who are willing to stand in the same level of responsibility that you do. In the absence of accountability, you have the opportunity to reflect on your own path. Do you take responsibility for your actions, for your choices? Are you willing to own your mistakes and grow from them? These are questions worth considering because they form the foundation of the healthy relationships you deserve. And once you start holding others accountable, and more importantly, holding yourself accountable, you will find that your sense of peace and self-worth becomes unshakable. You deserve someone who is willing to look at themselves honestly. You deserve someone who won't make excuses or deflect blame, but instead will grow alongside you, acknowledging their mistakes and working toward betterment. This is the kind of relationship you should nurture, the kind that lifts you up, not drags you down. Remember, the absence of accountability is not a reflection of your failure, but a sign that it's time for you to walk away from toxic patterns. You have the strength within you to step into a life that is free from manipulation and deflection. Let this be your moment to reclaim your truth and take control of your own destiny. Sign 3. The pathological liar. Have you ever felt the overwhelming sense of unease when someone speaks to you? But deep down, you know that what they're saying isn't true. The stories they tell, the promises they make, the details they emphasize, everything just doesn't add up. At first, you might brush it off, telling yourself it's a misunderstanding or that they simply misspoke. But as time goes on, you begin to see a disturbing pattern emerge: the lies, the fabrications, the blatant disregard for the truth. This is the third sign of a psychopath: the pathological liar. Now, when I say pathological liar, I'm not referring to small white lies, the kind we all tell to avoid awkward situations or spare someone's feelings. No, a psychopath's lies go much deeper than that. They lie for the sake of lying. They weave elaborate stories, tell outrageous tales, and create an alternate reality in which they are always the victim, the hero, or the mastermind. These lies serve a purpose: to control, to manipulate, to deceive. They are not simply embellishments or misunderstandings. They are deliberate distortions of the truth. And here's where things get difficult for you. As their lies pile up, you start questioning your own reality. You start doubting your own perceptions because it's hard to believe that someone you care about or someone you trust could constantly deceive you. You might even start to doubt yourself, wondering if you're the one who's wrong, if you've misunderstood everything. The cycle of confusion, self-doubt, and frustration is part of their manipulation. They want you to question everything so they can continue to control the narrative. But here's the truth: their lies aren't about you. They are not reflections of your reality, but of theirs. A psychopath's lies are rooted in their need for control, their need to create a world in which they hold all the power. And the scariest part? The lies will never stop. They are part of who they are, a defense mechanism, a tool they use to maintain control over you and everyone around them. Now, I know this can be an incredibly painful experience. The person you once trusted, the person you once believed in, has now become someone whose words you can't trust. But let me remind you of something important. You are not powerless in this situation. The moment you recognize the lies for what they are, you take back your power. The truth is, you have the ability to choose how you respond to the deception. You don't have to accept their version of reality. You don't have to allow their lies to shape your world. But how do you deal with someone who lies so easily, so effortlessly? The first step is simple. Start trusting your instincts. You've always had the ability to tell when something doesn't feel right. You've always known when things just don't add up. And now, more than ever, it's time to trust that inner voice. The more you tune into it, the clearer the truth will become. The lies will begin to unravel, and you'll start seeing the person in front of you for who they really are. It's also important to remember that the problem is not you. It's not a reflection of your ability to discern truth from fiction. This is a fundamental aspect of dealing with psychopaths. They distort reality because they are not concerned with truth, only with their own agenda. So, it's crucial that you stop doubting yourself. You have the right to stand firm in your truth. You have the right to say, "No, this doesn't make sense," and walk away when the lies become too much to bear. There's a Stoic principle that says, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose our response. When you recognize the pathological liar in your life, you must choose how to respond. You don't have to engage in their twisted game of deception. You don't have to prove anything to them because the truth is already within you. If you've been living in a world of lies, it's time to step into your own truth. Recognize that their lies are not yours to carry. Don't allow someone else's fabrications to dictate your reality. It's not an easy path, but it's the one that will lead you to freedom. The moment you let go of the need for validation from someone who cannot be truthful with you, you reclaim your inner peace. Remember, you are not weak for questioning the lies. You are strong for seeking the truth. And every time you choose to walk away from a lie, you are walking towards a life that is real, grounded in honesty and trust. You deserve relationships where the truth is a constant, where the words spoken are as real as the actions that follow them. The only way to build that life is by trusting yourself, by holding fast to your own integrity, and by not allowing someone else's lies to rewrite your story. The path of truth is never easy, but it is always worth it. And by recognizing the pathological liar in your life, you have taken the first step towards reclaiming your power, your peace, and your truth. Sign 4. The unpredictable rage. Have you ever been in a situation where everything seemed calm, where the conversation was going fine, and then, out of nowhere, the storm hit? One moment they're smiling, maybe even charming you with their words, and the next, the anger erupts. Sudden, violent, and completely out of proportion to what's happening. The rage comes, unpredictable and fierce, leaving you in a state of shock, questioning your reality and wondering what just triggered such an outburst. This is the 4th sign you're dealing with a psychopath, the unpredictable rage. At first, you might find yourself walking on eggshells, unsure of what to say or do next. You try to keep the peace, tiptoe around their moods, thinking, if I say the wrong thing, will it set them off? That constant fear, that tension in the air, it's not just anxiety. It's a sign that the person in front of you is unpredictable, volatile, and driven by a deep-seated need for control. The rage they unleash is not just about what you did. It's about their inability to cope with their own inner turmoil, their own frustration, their own need to dominate and manipulate. But here's where the shift happens. You have the power to choose how you respond to this rage. You see, when someone behaves like this, it's easy to get caught in the emotional whirlwind they create. You might feel defensive, angry, or even guilty. You might want to explain yourself, make them see your side. But that's exactly what they want: control. They want you to react, to lose your calm, to feel guilty for things you didn't even do. This is where your strength lies, in your ability to remain calm and centered, even when the storm hits. You don't have to mirror their anger. You don't have to join them in the chaos. The key is understanding that their rage isn't about you. It's about their inability to regulate their own emotions, their lack of self-control, and their need to manipulate your emotions. You are not the one who is out of control. The moment you internalize this truth, you begin to reclaim your power. This is when you can step into your own space, unshaken, unbothered. Your peace doesn't need to be compromised by someone else's emotional explosions. You are strong enough to not take the bait, to remain grounded while they flail about in their own inner storm. It's important to understand this. The rage isn't random. It's part of a pattern. A psychopath uses anger to dominate, to intimidate, to make you feel small. But it's also a test to see if they can break you. They want to see if they can push you far enough to get the reaction they desire. If you allow yourself to be pulled into their emotional chaos, you lose. But if you stand firm, anchored in your own values and emotional stability, you win. This takes practice. This takes patience. And this takes self-awareness. You can't control how they act, but you can control how you respond. Every time you remain calm in the face of their rage, you are reinforcing your own inner strength. You are teaching yourself that no one else has the power to disturb your peace unless you allow it. In Stoicism, there is a principle that says, we cannot control what others do, but we can control our reaction. This is the essence of reclaiming your power. The moment you stop reacting to their outbursts, the moment you stop giving in to the emotional roller coaster they want you to ride, you set yourself free. You no longer allow their anger to dictate your state of mind. You take back control of your emotional well-being. But there's more to this. It's not just about maintaining your own peace. It's also about recognizing when this kind of behavior is toxic and knowing when to walk away. It's about setting boundaries. If someone constantly erupts in rage, if they make you fear their next outburst, it's a sign that they are not capable of respecting your emotional space. And you deserve to have your space respected. You deserve relationships that are built on trust, respect, and calm. So, what do you do when faced with this kind of rage? You recognize it for what it is, a sign of deep dysfunction. You understand that their outbursts are not a reflection of your actions, but of their inability to manage their emotions. And you make the conscious choice not to engage with it. You don't need to fix them, and you don't need to fight their battles. You only need to protect your own peace. You have the power to walk away. You have the strength to say no to this kind of chaos in your life. And the more you honor your own boundaries, the more you reclaim your peace, your joy, and your well-being. You are not responsible for their rage, but you are responsible for how much space you allow it to take up in your life. The choice is yours, and it starts with realizing that you are worthy of peace. Sign 5. Shallow relationships. Have you ever felt like someone was by your side, yet deep down, you knew they weren't really there for you? Perhaps it was a friendship, a family bond, or even a romantic relationship. You may have shared laughs, casual conversations, and even some good times. But when you look closely, you realize that something was missing, something deep, meaningful, and lasting. This is the 5th sign you're dealing with a psychopath. Shallow relationships. You see, psychopaths are not capable of forming genuine, deep connections. They may appear to be your friend, your lover, or your trusted confidant, but their relationships are built on surface-level interactions, driven by manipulation rather than true care or empathy. They may tell you what you want to hear, give you just enough attention to keep you hooked, but they never truly open themselves up to you. They don't want to understand you at your core, and they certainly don't want to share their true selves with you. You might find yourself questioning this dynamic, wondering why, after all this time, you still feel alone in the relationship. It's like you're there, physically present but emotionally disconnected. You might feel as if you're constantly giving, constantly offering your time, your care, and your love, but it's never quite enough. No matter how much you invest, the return is always shallow. But here's the truth. It's not you. It's them. A psychopath doesn't know how to genuinely connect. They don't have the capacity for emotional depth or real intimacy. For them, relationships are transactional. They're about what they can gain, what they can use to their advantage. This leaves you feeling drained, empty, and unfulfilled. So why does this happen? Why do you keep investing in someone who only offers you half of themselves? Because deep inside, you long for connection. You crave understanding, love, and authenticity. And sometimes, when you're caught in the web of a shallow relationship, it can be hard to see that what you're really looking for isn't being offered. You begin to believe that if you try harder, if you give more, they'll change. But the truth is, they won't. They can't. This is where your inner strength comes into play. You have the power to break free from this cycle. You have the strength to recognize that a shallow relationship is not a reflection of your worth. You are worthy of deep, meaningful connections. You deserve relationships where love, trust, and vulnerability are shared freely, not hoarded for manipulation. You deserve relationships where both sides invest equally, where there's reciprocity and care, not just one-sidedness. The key here is self-awareness. The moment you realize that someone is only giving you a fraction of themselves, you have the choice to step back and assess whether this relationship is truly serving you. Is this person enriching your life, or are they draining you? Are they giving you the emotional depth you need, or are they keeping you at arm's length? It's important to trust your intuition. If you feel like something is missing, if you sense that the connection is shallow, that's a sign. It's a signal from your inner self telling you that you deserve more. You don't have to settle for relationships that don't fulfill you. You don't have to keep giving your time and energy to someone who isn't willing to meet you halfway. The problem is, when you're dealing with a psychopath, they're very skilled at making you feel like you're the one at fault. They'll gaslight you, twist the narrative, and make you question your own feelings. But don't fall for it. You know what's real and what's not. You can feel the difference between a relationship that gives and one that takes. Trust yourself. So, what can you do about it? First, take a step back and reflect. Are you receiving the kind of love and connection that you truly need? Or are you giving more than you're getting? Don't be afraid to set boundaries. If someone is offering you a shallow connection, it's okay to walk away. You have the power to choose who you spend your energy on. You deserve relationships that nourish your soul, not ones that leave you feeling empty. Remember, you're not asking for too much. You're asking for something basic, real connection. And you have the right to demand it. You are worthy of deep, loving relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and emotional honesty. Don't settle for anything less. Trust that when you let go of these shallow relationships, you make space for the deep, meaningful connections that will truly elevate your life. You're not just walking away from something toxic, you're walking towards something better. You're walking toward relationships that honor you for who you truly are, and that, my friend, is where the real magic happens. Sign 6. Charisma that conceals danger. Have you ever met someone whose charm seemed to draw you in like a magnet? Their presence is electrifying. They have a way with words, a confidence that feels contagious. In their presence, you feel special, even chosen. It's easy to get swept up in the moment, to believe that this person is exactly what you've been waiting for. But deep down, something nags at you. A whisper of doubt, a flicker of discomfort that you can't quite shake off. This is the 6th sign that you're dealing with a psychopath. Charisma that conceals danger. At first, they seem too good to be true. They know just what to say, how to make you feel seen, heard, and appreciated. They're the life of the party, the person everyone turns to for advice, the one who seems to have it all together. And you find yourself believing in their image, caught up in the whirlwind of their infectious energy. But beneath this dazzling facade lies a hidden darkness, one that's carefully concealed by their magnetic personality. You may wonder, how could someone so charming, so engaging, be capable of anything harmful? It's simple. Their charisma is a tool, a weapon in their arsenal. Psychopaths are masters of manipulation, and their charm is their greatest disguise. They know how to use it to gain your trust, to lower your defenses, and to get you to let your guard down. You begin to share more of yourself, you open up, and before you know it, you're caught in their web. You're giving them your time, your energy, and perhaps even your heart, all the while they remain distant, calculating, and self-serving. But here's the truth. You are not at fault. You were drawn to their energy, their magnetism, because it's human nature to crave connection, to be seen, to feel special. And that's where the danger lies. Psychopaths use these deep human desires to manipulate you. They offer you exactly what you're looking for, but only for as long as it benefits them. The moment you've served your purpose, or when they've taken what they need from you, that same charisma can turn cold, distant, and even cruel. In a way, this charm is their mask. It's a performance they've perfected over time. And at the core of this performance is a lack of genuine connection, empathy, and care. What they're truly after is control. Control over your emotions, your trust, your loyalty. They use their charisma to keep you close, to make you feel as though you're a part of something special. But in reality, they're using you as a pawn in their game. So, what can you do when you feel this magnetic pull? How do you protect yourself from falling victim to someone who seems too good to be true? The first step is awareness. Trust your instincts. You might feel the warmth of their presence, but don't ignore the whispers of doubt that arise in your mind. Your intuition is trying to tell you something. Pay attention to the way they make you feel. Do they genuinely care about you, or are they just saying what they need to in order to get something from you? Notice if their actions align with their words, or if there's a gap between the two. Charisma alone cannot build a solid relationship. Real connections are built on trust, honesty, and mutual respect, not on charm alone. Remember, you have the power to discern. You have the ability to see beyond the surface. Just because someone shines brightly doesn't mean they are a source of light. Sometimes the brightest lights cast the darkest shadows. The key is to take a step back and assess the situation with a clear mind. Are you being manipulated? Are you giving more than you're receiving? Is your energy, your time, your love being used for someone else's benefit? If you feel drained, confused, or like you're constantly walking on eggshells around them, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. A person who truly cares about you will not leave you feeling uncertain or emotionally exhausted. It's important to remember that your worth is not tied to someone else's charm. You do not need to be chosen or validated by anyone to know that you matter. You are already enough, just as you are. Your power lies in your ability to protect your energy, to set boundaries, and to recognize when someone is not operating from a place of genuine care. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. You deserve relationships that are grounded in authenticity, not in performance. And when you begin to recognize the true nature of those around you, you'll find yourself naturally distancing from the dangerous ones, creating space for those who will love you for who you truly are. Remember, true connection is not about charisma. It's about consistency, vulnerability, and mutual respect. Don't be fooled by the surface-level allure. You have the strength to see beyond the charm and to protect yourself from the danger that lies beneath. You are capable of creating relationships that are deeper, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. Relationships that bring you peace, not uncertainty. In the end, the greatest charisma is the one that draws out the best in you, not one that hides your worth or uses you for its own gain. And once you recognize that, you'll begin to attract the kind of people who can truly see you, without any masks or illusions. Conclusion. As you reflect on the signs we've explored, it's important to remember that your journey is not about avoiding every person who shows a hint of these traits. It's about learning to recognize the subtle red flags early on, so you can protect your energy and preserve your peace. You have the power to see beyond the masks people wear. You have the ability to trust your instincts, to know when something feels off, and to act on that knowledge. It's not a flaw to set boundaries or to walk away from relationships that no longer serve your well-being. In fact, it's one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. The power to change your life and create healthier relationships lies within you. It begins with awareness. It begins with acknowledging the signs, listening to your inner voice, and making the decision to step into your own strength. You deserve to surround yourself with people who lift you up, who see you for who you truly are, and who honor your energy and your boundaries. So, now is the time. The time to take a step back, reflect on the relationships in your life, and ask yourself, are they nourishing you or are they draining you? Are they authentic or are they built on illusions? Trust yourself. Trust the wisdom you carry within. And as you do, you'll begin to clear the space for those who truly deserve a place in your life. If this message resonated with you, take a moment right now to reflect on the people in your life. Are there any relationships that feel off? Are there signs you've been ignoring? Trust yourself to make the right choice for your peace and your well-being. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might need to hear this message. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about these signs, and if you've experienced any of them in your own life. Let's start a conversation about how we can all protect our energy and build relationships that truly nourish us. Remember, you are powerful. You are enough. You are worthy of love, respect, and real connection. It all starts with you.